He's talking to you from experience, from also studying. Hey, in Zambia for 15 years. Yeah, please celebrate him. Yeah. Where he has provided psychological assessment and psychological treatment to thousands of clients of various mental disorders, such as depression. He is a founding partner and director for Abundant Hope Psychotherapy Center, where he has been working as a clinical psychologist, providing psychological assessment and psychotherapy. He holds a master's degree in clinical neuropsychology and Doctor of Science degree in clinical psychology. Please clap, 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 clap. Aaron had a very challenging background. He was raised up by a single loving mother. He has never known nor met his father, and he was highly traumatized. Sadly, he was mocked by his friends who had fathers. He grew up in abject poverty. He was living in one room with his mother, grandmother, mother, auntie, elder sister to his mother, his brother and sister. He was psychologically and negatively affected, but he did not know how to deal with his emotions and negative thoughts. However, Aaron overcame the odds. His experience as a psychologist for 15 years has extremely helped him to understand and master this subject. He believes that he still has extraordinary power of the mind despite what he went through. You understand? So he's not just telling you what he learned, but also for what he went through. And some of us here could identify with him. You understand, eh? Some of us could identify with him. So with Jesus' joy, please stand on your feet and help me welcome Dr. Bwalya Bwembya as he comes to speak to us. Please celebrate him, celebrate him. Yes, sir, you are welcome. You can stand when ministering.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. Please, you can sit down. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I don't take it for granted. Mama, I grew up as an introvert, so if you're an introvert, so at least I want to be free. This is my father's house, my mother's house. Amen. Thank you so much for this opportunity, ma'am. I don't take it for granted. And also say thank you to Papa and the deacon board, or the leadership over this church to allow me to come and minister to this great congregation. It is not easy to stand in the big shoes of Mama. I really appreciate that. We can celebrate their lives. These are the champions of mental health. They understand that a human being is just more than one part, but spirit, soul, and body. And they have labored so much to minister to all the three. Amen. They are great parents. They are great parents. They are great parents. If I had the chance, I could have said, okay, let me sing one song. However, I came with Mr. Brian Kimba, who is going to give a testimony. We are going to share this. In fact, I should start with my wife. So, please, my beautiful wife, one of the 8 wonders of the world, Brenda Chanda Anastasia Muguka Bwembya. I have a beautiful wife. at least because he had made a very good choice to choose my mother. It was very beautiful, and I also followed suit. If in fact, if you saw me the time my father was there, my brother used to suffer trauma because whenever they are arguing, he could be shut up. Whenever somebody want to bring up a point, they just say, "What can you say?" Because my father was a witch doctor. A witch doctor. So everyone knows him. Thank God he rejected me. That's what God can do. Sure. So we are going to share my time. I'm going to give him 10 minutes so that he can also do his part so that we can understand that this is not just, so that we understand that everyone is affected. So, I've been introduced very well, and I will not add anything, but what I will start with is that mental health problems are everyone's problems. Everyone is affected. Can we say infected? Everyone is affected. According to WHO, World Health Organization, close to 1 billion people, which is exactly 970 million people on earth, suffer from mental disorders. Now, I'm not saying mental health challenges. I'm saying suffer from mental disorders. These are diagnosable severe cases. If we say mental health challenges, then the statistics is even bigger. This means that out of every 8 people, 1 has a mental disorder. 1 has a mental disorder. Out of every 4, at least 1 family, they have a person who suffer from mental health disorders. And we find that depression goes as much as 280 million people in the world. Anxiety disorders, about 300 million. And if you put alcohol disorders, about 280 something million, where he struggled a lot. And other disorders also. There, in that statistics, stress is not included. Stress is not included. And now, you find that out of every 10, first of all, 82% of that statistics is found in places like Zambia, low and medium income countries. So when you are saying 1 in every 8, when it comes to Zambia, it is far more than that. And out of 10 people who suffer from mental health disorders, only 1 receives professional help. These others suffer in silence. And you find that mental health problems, challenges, they affect the total you. They affect you from the sole of your feet to the crown of your hair. They affect the way you think. They affect the way you feel. They affect the way you act. They affect even what goes in your body. At this point in time, I want to come and talk. I want to talk about what I've been called for, which is depression, loss, and pain. The three are interwoven. They are connected in a vicious circle. Each contributes or causes the other. As I talk about pain, we understand that everyone has experienced it. So talk about losses, almost everyone has experienced it. Those who have not experienced it, I'm not a prophet of doom, we one day experience loss. And loss happens in different forms, in different ways. Not just about death. I'm writing a book entitled 100 Ways to Overcome Mental Health Challenges. One of the 100 challenges, mental health challenges, is the pain of loss. Everyone has experienced it. Unfortunately, even when you love each other so much, one of you will lose the partner. That's unfortunate. I pray that I die first, baby girl. I don't want to go through that pain. I should die first because I'm older than her, in fact, by 8 years. And here in our midst, we have a man who has suffered different losses. He suffered the pain from death, loss of employment, loss of his parents, both of them, loss of his job, loss of his education, loss of the benefits, loss of health, and this man is here. Come and share your testimony, 10 minutes only.
Good afternoon, church. Thank you very much, Mama, for this opportunity. To start sharing, allow me just to introduce myself. I'm Branch Shimba. It's good to also see Josephine. We are together at Eucharist. My name is Branch Shimba. I am a mental health clinician and also a peer recovery professional. I'm also an evangelist. I struggled with alcohol and drug addiction for a period of 14 years. And in my 14 years of struggle, to share my story fully, I lost my parents when I was just 6 years old. So I was raised by my grandmother. So my grandmother expected me to, in fact, myself, I was an academic genius. So everyone was looking up to me that I'll get better, and I wanted to be an engineer or a mathematician. So having gotten good grades at grade 7, my uncle was the only surviving child from my grandmother. Because my grandmother had 6 children, then she lost 5 of them, so only one remained. So that was in a space of 4 to 5 years. So only one remained, and that was Dr. Dishimpi. By then, he just used to be a doctor at UTH. So he's the one who picked me and enrolled me at Kablonga Boys with the hope that I'm going to get better so that we'll be maybe the 2 of us who are going to liberate the family. Because he saw an academic genius nephew. So he enrolled me at Kablonga Boys, where I did my grade 8 and 9. Then in grade 9, I was one of the best students at Kablonga Boys. I got 512 marks and went to Hillcrest. Qualified in the sport to go to Hillcrest, where I even met Josephine there. So we are together, same intake, we completed same time. Yeah, so I was at Eucharist, then in grade 10, in term 3, I started drinking. I didn't know to what extent the drinking would cause in my life. Started drinking, then in grade 11, we got so drunk one time, we came back in school, then started fights with the prefect because we wanted him to give us some food, and he couldn't give us. That's how I was expelled, suspended. Then came back to Eucharist in grade 11, term 3. We caused riot. I was among the ringleaders at Eucharist, and I was expelled from Eucharist. Only allowed to get back to school after the PS by then said that I get back to school. That's how I got back, and in the same grade 11, started engaging myself in sleeping with sex workers at the age of 17. So I never knew what type of love is. So for us, it was just prostitutes in the bars. And in same grade 11, I was introduced to marijuana by a friend. May he so rest in peace. We were together. Yeah. So I started now taking alcohol, drugs, and in grade 12, term 3, I got so drunk on my 18th birthday. I came back in school, insulted everyone in school, including the head teacher, who took me to the police cells. So I'm trying to, that was the first time I was arrested. The first time I was arrested in the police cells, but I was allowed to get back and wrote my exams. I passed, I got 9 points by the grace of God, and earned myself a spot at the Copperbelt University. So I went to Copperbelt University to go and pursue my degree. I was unable to finish my degree because I was just drinking. By then now, they even used to call me Brand Bronx Bonarivex Geodanks. It was life characterized with sexual immorality, women, drugs, alcohol. So when the time came for the exams, I felt like I'm an academic failure, whereby everyone is expecting to see you've done well. So I thought I think there's nothing in life for me. So I went on the first floor at Copperbelt University and threw myself and hit myself on the ground and sustained broken teeth. These are just dentures. So I hit myself on the ground. I was unconscious for 3 days. And then after that, I left CBU after I got better. When I came back to Kawe, started stealing from my grandmother. Life was just characterized. I was called junkie, until a stranger I met said, this young man is very intelligent. Let's help him apply for a job. I applied for a job in the government, in the office of the president. I worked there for 8 years. I was given that job, and I was posted to Mansa district. Now with a salary, everything became so bad. I started now drinking, and whilst I was there, I even got married. Without informing my grandmother, without informing my uncle, I married. So we had the first child with the woman I was married to. The first child died. We had the second child also stayed some months and died. It was a painful situation, and in that state whereby your partner has lost children and you are busy drinking, busy bringing women, the life of the characterized of pain, whereby there was no respect, there was adultery, there was I even used to keep some money just for women because that was the life I was just living. So the woman I was married to also was not happy with that life. So she said, I'm no longer, I cannot continue living with this. What kind of a criminal is this man? So she decided to divorce me. And I was divorced. So having passed through divorce, I felt very painful situation. I suffered a lot of depression. And in my depressive state, I got so drunk at one time, abused marijuana. And there was a by-election in Mansa at that time. When there was an election taking place, a national election, I destroyed campaign materials in my drunken state. And I was arrested. The case was all over. It was on ZNBC. It was on Facebook. So I was arrested, and I was taken to Mansa State Prison. I was in prison, remanded in prison, that's the West. Yeah. I was remanded in prison for 2 months. After staying in prison, the candidate who stood on MMD ticket was a pastor. So he went to speak with Dr. Nevas Mumba. I don't know what they agreed. Miraculously, they withdrew the case. I could have been in prison even now because the case was charged under sabotage activities. So it was all over. It was even on ZMBC News. So that's how I was acquitted. So I came out of prison. Now I started absenting myself from work, just drinking, women, until I got so sick that I was unconscious in Mansa, and they had to send an ambulance to come and pick me, and that's how I was transferred from Mansa. And I came to UTH in my unconscious state. So they did their investigation. They found my liver was damaged. I was diagnosed with liver damage. This is what I'm saying, true life, even medical report is there. Liver was damaged, kidney failure, and my brain was shrinking, and I was also diagnosed with HIV. So things became so bad that even when I was put on treatment, I was not adherent to treatment. Things were just so bad. Just now, I was looking forward to die. Every time suicidal ideation, looking forward that I think life is not worth it to live. So at Chainama, I was eventually diagnosed with neuropsychiatry, which is as a result of poor controlled retroviral disease. It's a mental disorder where the virus is now affecting your neurons, and it's characterized with poor, you are irritable, you can't control yourself, your impulse. So it was so just bad, and my brain was shrinking. After MRI test was done, my brain was shrinking, it was dissolving. Medically, I was expected by 2015 to be buried. And doctors wrote now to my office saying, this man can't work in a sensitive organization, and that's how I was disengaged from employment. I only worked for 8 years. After that, I went to the Public Pensions Fund to get my money, only to discover that I never qualified for gratuity. So meaning I was only given my own pension contribution, which money I also squandered and just remained with now life. Divorce, depression, suicide, prison, now just life. And such that I was scared to meet my friends from Hillcrest. I was scared to meet my friends from OP, meet my friends from CBU, because I was not worthy to meet them in my state at that time in 2015. But in his own special way, because I had nothing to do with Jesus, I didn't want anything to do with God, because in my own thinking, I was saying, God who killed my parents, and I could even boast about it. There's no God. If God exists, why did he kill my parents? So he doesn't love me. But a time came on 31st March 2016, I woke up to go and drink. I was shivering like those hangovers. So when I reached at the bar, I asked this young man to buy me a junta. So he bought me. Now I drank all of it and finished all of it. So they got so upset. So that's how they beat me up, chased me from the bar, and I went home. Then on 1st April 2016, I woke up. My uncle around 05, he told me, Brian, at your workplace, they have given you back your job, and they have even given you money. Go and get. So I didn't even bother. I was rushing, saying, if I get my money, I come and show those guys who mistreated me. Only to reach at my workplace, I found that it was April 1st, Fool's Day. So I was fooled. So it was at that point that now I started walking. It was a moment of now clarity, a moment of ambivalence, a moment of understanding. I was really crying, and it was there the Holy Spirit just touched me as well. And now I reached home and told my uncle, I think, let me try Jesus. That's how I was introduced to a certain church, evangelical church, there in Chilenje. And on 1st April, I gave my life to Jesus Christ. And from there, I was taken to Chainama, and I was his patient. I was taken to Chainama where I received psychotherapy and also some treatment to avoid some cravings and committed myself full time to change. As we are speaking today, I am 8 years, 11 months, 8 days, alcohol and drug sobriety. So it's possible to change. In fact, on 1st April, I'll be 9 years. By the way, on 8th, Happy Women's Day, my wife could have come here. She's just working. So what I did is now I decided to remarry. So this time I had to do the right thing. So I met this woman. I told her about my status, and she said she was HIV negative. So we went to the psychologist to go and check us, counseling, and she was told that when the time comes for us to marry, she'll be put on pre-exposure prophylaxis. So she was put on some treatment. She was taking Truvada, which she takes, and she's remained negative. And myself, I'm adherent to treatment, and my CD4 count ranges 930 to 970, and my viral load is undetectable. And together we are a mixed status couple, blessed with 2 more children who are HIV negative. Then, in 2021, I decided to go back to school because I remember that I'm still an academic genius. That's how I enrolled at Levi Mwanawasa Medical University and completed a degree in mental health and clinical psychiatry, which I just completed last year. And as we are speaking, I'm a practicing licensed therapist and mental health psychiatrist by the Health Professions Council of Zambia. So the testimony I've shared, we've shared it on ZNBC. Every Thursdays, 21 hours, there's a program which comes Beyond the Eye, Addiction is Real program, where we talk about everything I've shared, even from the professional, spiritual, and practical aspect. And I've shared the same story at the African Union Summit, such that even last year, I was even invited to share the same story at the European Union Summit, where I traveled and successfully shared. By the way, I was even given a master's to pursue in addiction psychiatry, fully sponsored. So it's possible to change. And in conclusion, I'm the author of this book, Triumph Over Alcohol and Drug Addiction. It's an inspirational story. Everything I've shared is in this book. So you get inspired, then you read the how-to. I'm also authored this book, The Proven Code, a step-by-step to recovery. Thank you very much. It's possible to change.
Thank you so much. So basically, impossible is nothing. It is possible to change. It is possible to overcome. It does not matter where you have been. It does not matter how low you have fallen. You can still stand up tall as if you had never fallen. It's only you who will be telling yourself that I am coming from such a background. Your background does not matter. Your background does not matter, and even what you have gone through does not matter. What matters is what you are doing now with your life. So, then, loss can result in different experiences. It can result in different mental health challenges. Now, when we talk about loss, we are talking about the event. When we are connecting mental health to loss, we are saying that this is an event. This is a negative happening which has happened to you, where you have lost that which you valued most. I'm sure if you lose that which you didn't value, it cannot pain you and it cannot affect you. So when you see somebody has lost a partner and they are not affected, then you may understand. Because I have suffered losses. The first loss I suffered, of course, is the rejection of my father. I used to be bitter because loss can make you bitter. I used to be bitter with my father. I used to admire people who had fathers, and they could laugh at me. Even when I married, I still could say, but Katabadi Lisaka. Because Katabadi Lisaka, Katabatu Shire. The pain was so much that I never even wanted to see him. He died, unfortunately, he died the same year with my mother. They had separated, divorced from 1984 to 2002. My father died first, somewhere in March, somewhere there. My brother came to look for us when he was 16 years, found us. So he sent a telegram. I saw the paper, my father has died. Okay. It was just like any other person who died. I never cried, not even one tear. I never felt bad. I felt nothing. Because I had already lost him. I was bitter with him. Because I grew up without a father, I had low self-esteem. I could not raise my hand in class to say an answer. I could not speak in public. Even a conductor, I could not ask them to give me back my change. I was too shy, too ashamed of myself. I had low self-esteem. If I met my wife that time, she couldn't have accepted me, of course, because I was too poor. And of course, I couldn't even have asked him another her. Because I could know that she couldn't accept me. Looking down at myself because of that loss. Thinking I'm not good for anything. I'll put that in my third book, which is called Your Background Doesn't Matter. It will come out this year also. The other one is coming out in April. I've finished it, 100 words. That one, I'm putting it in Your Background Does Not Matter. In the same year, on 17th September, I lost my mother. And it was so painful. 2002. And I cried, I wept. No, you are a man, a man does not cry, be strong. I was thinking, these evil men, do they know what I'm going through? The pain was so much. Something that I was attached to broke off. Because my mother is my hero. She could carry clay pots because she had never gone to school. She could make clay pots so that we can come and eat. And then she goes in the compound, I don't know, and selling. After that she sold. That's where we come and eat. We used to eat once, around 16 hours, so that it can cater for breakfast, lunch, and supper. And then, before I went to the University of Zambia, she was gone. I was the first one to go to university to finish grade 12. When I was graduating, I was crying. I said, I wish my mother was here. wish my mother could see me in this suit, because she never had this chance. One day she exchanged a clay pot which she made with my short. With a clay pot which she made, she exchanged because she couldn't manage to buy a short. I never used to have shoes. I never used to have an underwear, and they could call me names. Bamba kutumpikama tako. That's the name they used to call me, because I never used to wear a bamba. I never had a bamba. Because of that pain, I had to raise money to sell paraffin and went to buy one bamba. This one I bought, I found those which they were doing on the market, tellers. Bamba yakubira pa market. I raising money from selling paraffin. No shoes, at least in contact with bamba, so that they don't call me bamba kutumpikama tako. Found it. Lo and behold, it was oversized. But because of the torment I'd gone through, I had to buy it that way, and borrowed a needle to sew on this side and this side, so that at least it can fit my waist. However, the legs were still open. And this woman who suffered for us went before could harvest the labor. It's so painful. It was so painful. When she died, I saw she died at 50, she was 54 years old. By the way, even the pin of my Airtel money is the year she was born. So if you know, you can come and steal my money. But I can say that because you are holy. That's the attachment. And I saw an old woman, and I could say, so this old woman was worthy to continue living. But why did God? I was born again by that time, because I was born again in 1996. I'm a child of God, by the way, tongue speaking. And God told me that the same God who spoke in the beginning, that let there be, and there was the sun, the moon, and the stars, and nothing resisted. The same God said, go and lay your hands on the sick, and the sick shall recover. And I move with that revelation. And when I'm praying for the sick, I'll say, God told me, because he told me personally, and I'm convinced that is what he said. And I'm sure one of ways is fulfilling that is through psychotherapy. Because I don't understand how people get healed when they come for therapy. I don't understand. It's beyond me. I just know that this is God. It's not about the techniques. It's about him. It's about him. I say, why did you do that? I don't understand. You never gave me the answer. I don't know. I could cry. When did I stop crying, baby? Even when I was a psychologist, I could still cry. Okay, it's okay to cry. It's okay to cry. It's okay to cry. It's human to cry. because pain, when you have not released it, it will explode in some way where you don't understand. You can't hold it. I lost our fourth born on the 2nd April in Levy under negligence at birth. Our daughter, and this daughter we name our children before they are born. We named Wapulamo. God is the Most High. And at birth, our child was gone. And I could cry. 2021. My mom was saying, Mom, you don't need to cry. You are a psychologist. I said, I'm not a psychologist. I'm bereaved. I cried. The magnitude of loss differs. Some people have lost their beloved ones. Some people lose their property. Some their income, some their money. Some determined, necessitated by yourself. Some natural losses. Some are controllable, preventable. Others may not be preventable. Many people have taken their lives when they lose. Even when you're divorced, sometimes you feel like you are not a woman enough because you've lost a marriage. You feel you are ugly, never beautiful. You start looking down upon yourself. You start comparing yourself to others. You start thinking there's something missing about you. Start thinking you are not a human being enough. You are less than a human being. When you make mistakes, you blame yourself, you blame others, you blame God. You think life is not worthy living. You think you should also die. It's better to die. One young man, because of losses, he started drinking, because that is also something that which you can experience. Start drinking because you cannot sleep. Because every time you sleep, you feel like you are useless. How could I not think? How could I not do this? If only I did this. If only that one did that. Start drinking. And as you drink, you invite other mental health challenges. And he went to a bar because he didn't want to kill himself, but wanted somebody to kill him. And he started drinking expensive beer, ordering recklessly. And at the end of the time, the bill was so much. And the owners of the bar came and said, young man, now you can pay the bill. This is the bill. So what? You came here and you are saying Ishkwete. Do whatever you want. Chogapa. You really pushed him. And they just got him and took him to to the police cells. And he was very disappointed with them for that act. He said, I wanted them to beat me to death, not to take me to cells, because I'm tired of my life. I don't like my life because of what I have experienced. When you experience particular loss, depending on the magnitude and the nature, it can result in trauma, post or acute stress disorder. What happens is that pain, that event disrupts the normal functioning of your brain. The brain centers communicate smoothly, but under certain traumas, under certain happening circumstances, the brain does not trust you so much, it goes into circuit break. Power. Because for it should take charge in terms of controlling the environment, your actions. The amygdala does not pass the information to the frontal lobe. Does not pass the information here. The hippocampus does not take the information. This part, which is called amygdala, is the emotional center. It stores the information as emotion. It stores it as pain. It stores it as that abuse, the way you felt when you were abused, the way you felt when you insulted, the way you felt when somebody mistreated you. That is what you feel when you remember. Because it has been stored as pain, as an emotion. People can tell you, but you think they don't understand. You have not been there. No wonder you are saying that. In fact, you even avoid them. Don't go back to them. Because they are ishibokulanda. Sometimes we even pray. I pray that you also feel it. Let it happen to you so that you know that I'm not doing it, Dala. Please, munjebe time when I can talk for 5 hours. I can talk for 5 hours. These things cannot finish. So the pain continues. I talked to somebody who was cheated on 42 years ago, and 42 years later, she said, I can't forgive him. The pain is still there because it has been stored in emotional pain form, not as a memory, but as pain. When you remember it, you feel like a sharp spear to your heart. And there's a connection between physical and psychological. And then it can result in depression as one form, but can result in different were mental health challenges. When we are talking about depression, it's one of the most common mental health disorders. I'm sure every one of you has experienced it. It might not have met the criteria for major depressive disorder, but the symptoms are quite visible that even yourself you can see that this is depression. It might not have lasted for 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks, which is supposed to diagnose, that's where the duration for diagnosis for depression, but you have felt the symptoms, you have experienced them. So depression is a mood disorder that is characterized by depressed mood or loss of interest in the things you used to do. Depressed mood and loss of interest in the things which you love. Depressed mood is the way you appear. You appear tearful, like you are crying. You appear low. You appear sad. And you feel sad. You can easily tell that there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with this particular person because the appearance will tell. With a psychological perspective, no one can hide what is happening inside them. No one can hide their thoughts. Because if your mouth does not speak, every pore of your body will release the information. Every eye will tell a story. You stop enjoying the things which you used to enjoy. According to Brian Bronx, Bonarivex, Diojanksho, he stopped going for work when he was in depression state. He stopped enjoying the work which he wanted most. Somebody loves to do a particular thing, and during that time they cannot do it. They can't bake, they can't cook, they can't bath, they cannot tweezer, they cannot dress up, they cannot watch TV, they cannot go for recreation activities. Apart from that, you find that there's also loss of interest or disturbed appetite. Appetite is disturbed. Not low appetite, but disturbance can be more or less. Some people eat more, eat a lot, and this results in also gaining weight. Sometimes they don't want to eat anything. They all day, 2, 3, 4 days. If they are fasting, they can work well in 21 days of prayer and fasting. But this is not to do with fasting. They just don't have appetite. When they want to eat, they feel there's something here. They cannot swallow. Food cannot pass. The food you enjoy most, pizza, Hungry Lion, Nando's, you no longer enjoy it. Food is there, but you can't eat. Others, they will eat anything. They will eat everything. Sometimes there's also disturbed sleep. Have you ever seen that some people may not sleep for days? The whole night, they can't sleep. Due to different reasons, sleep can't just come. During the day, they have no energy because the brain has been working throughout. As we go on, I'll tell you that the brain is 2% of the total body weight. I've put it in my book here. 2% of the total body weight, but uses 20% of your energy. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. This one, it's okay. Uses 20% of body energy. 2% of body weight, but uses that. So if you are not sleeping even, the work continues. No wonder you feel tired because the brain has been working throughout. It doesn't rest. Though even if you are sleeping, it still works. You don't know how, but it is working. And as we reach how to handle this, we are going to see that the most active part of the brain, that is what uses more energy. The most active area of the brain is what uses more energy. If you are using your ears to concentrate, then more energy is used by that part which controls hearing. This gives the responsibility of apportioning energy in your body or by your brain to you. Because you are going to direct which part of your brain should use more energy. And the more it uses energy, the more it becomes more sensitive, the more it becomes more active, the more it becomes larger. If your energy is directed towards gossiping, so that particular area of the brain, whenever you see somebody, it is activated, and you start thinking of who you are going to talk about. You start thinking, this person was covered. What should I tell them? You start scanning through your brain. Who told you a secret? And you easily find them because that area of the brain is so active and sensitive. Usually find her. Did you see the shoes? Yeah. Did you see the hips? Yeah. The eyes. That wig is very cheap. I know that one is Kamwara in a 30. I know. Because that one is very active. So, the areas that should be sensitive is given to your responsibility. As you go on, you find that some people also sleep too much. I've been there where even when his wife is in the car waiting for the traffic lights to turn from red to green, during that process, they have slept. They can't just function. They're working in a sensitive environment can cause an accident. Some accidents which we see can be caused from that. Besides that, there's also loss of concentration. You can't just keep your mind on something. You can't just concentrate on something. Because depression has the ability to reduce or to erase concentration. Your memory is distorted. You can't even remember where you left your keys. Mama, that one is not for depression for me. I just don't know. I don't know where we put the keys for the car. So even I was asking my wife, she doesn't know. But for me, that is not depression. I just don't know where they put it, where I put them. So yeah. So I was saying, oh no, as I go to review Dwed, let me go with a better car, not the Corona. So now the better car, we don't know where the keys are. So at least I have to package myself. At least I'm not there for me to get on. Now the keys zero. Said, my brother, let's just go with this. The road is with us. There's a knife way. Then I'll just tell him, no. I know what? This is God. Because I can start thinking it's about the car. It's not about the car. It's about him. You get it? It's not about what you have. It's about him. And what he has put inside you. So, the other thing you find is that there's also distorted thinking. Apart from loss of concentration, there's also distorted thinking. You think differently about yourself. You think negatively about others. You think negatively about the world around you. You think negatively about your future. You feel your future is terrible. You think you amount to nothing. You think you are nothing and you'll be nothing. I'm sure you have seen, even sometimes when you are doing role plays, I'm sure Women's Day characterized by plays, characterized by some plays. Almost every time when you have Women's Day, you can play filia. Mnakwata kuna mwesho? Ifo tunakwata hivyo. Mnakwata kuna mwesho? Kana play filia. When you are dividing the roles, others are saying, oh, me, I'm going to be Pastor Arao. Me, I am going to be the protocol officer. Me, I'm going to be the intercessor. Me, I'm going to be the manager. Me, I'm going to be the director. Me, I'm going to be the psychologist. And you say, oh, okay. And one says, me, I'm going to be a dog. Because it has changed the way you look at yourself. You look at yourself negatively. And also, suicidal tendencies comes in. Most of the people who take their lives, there's some elements of depression. Now, in summary, okay, I want to finish the symptoms. Let me go at least 5 minutes. I will begin 5 minutes. In summary, as I worked with different clients, I don't work with patients. I work with clients, people we can talk to, make decisions. You get it, huh? People have responsibility, who have the power to change inside them. I discovered one thing, and that one thing I discovered is that every human being has power inside them, which is called extraordinary power of the mind, which enables them to be the best they can ever be, live the highest quality of life, and overcome any challenge which they face in life. This power inside you is an innate tendency. You are born with it. It can't be destroyed. It can't be lost. No matter what you go through, it cannot be destroyed. I thought I never had it. I could not even speak. Somebody was calling me deaf, because I could not speak a word. I could say, I was stammering. Time. Come here. Could you know that I'm the one who was speaking like that? Eh? My brother tries that, huh? It's better also, huh? Yeah? Because he's singing. My brother, he was also stammering. It was like, no, this is the family disease. But is it there? Is it there? Yeah? It can just be locked, suppressed, diverted, or transformed. And remember that anything, this is why I crafted this book, that whatever was locked can be unlocked. Whatever was suppressed can be released. Whatever can be transformed can be transformed. If you have been transformed to the negative perspective, you can also be transformed to the positive perspective. Not just to the original you, but to the better you, because wherever you were, that is not the best. You can still go further. Wherever you are, that is not the highest. You can still go higher. The extraordinary power inside you can't be exhausted. If you want to come out of depression, if you want to overcome the pain of loss, if you want to overcome every loss, every pain, you have to realize, first of all, that you have the power inside you. I went with somebody to an elder. The elder was very happy to see us. Went behind the yard and cut a piece of sugar cane and handed a piece each, and we started eating. As we were eating, I could see how the one deacon was enjoying the sugar cane. As he was enjoying, then it dawned on me that wow, this is extraordinary. And because behind the house, that backyard garden, there was also a lemon tree. There was also a mango tree. There was also tomato and Chinese cabbage. In the same yard, there was also Simba. And everything of these were receiving same sunlight, same nutrients, same air, but producing differently. And it came to me that it doesn't matter who surrounds you. It doesn't matter who has insulted you, because there was also a dog. And you know dogs, huh? So it was also urinating there. But the sugar cane was still sugar cane. It doesn't matter who called me umwana wanganga. I'm a child of God. doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who called you names. Doesn't matter. You have extraordinary power of the mind. All you need is to unlock it. All you need is to release it. All you need is to realize that you have it, and then make use of it and become the best you can ever be. Overcome every challenge. Sometimes people who suffer from depression, who are prone to depression, are them that lock themselves in the past pain. You lock yourself in the past pain. By the way, the extraordinary power of the mind has the capacity to shift. So it can shift from the now to the painful past and lock itself there. Every time you feel the pain, every time you feel distressed, every time you feel useless, because it has locked itself there. And it cannot enjoy the present moment, because you are living in the past. You are still there when you are insulted. You are still in that bitterness. You are still in that environment where you are rejected. So every time you feel you are a reject. But God has put inside you the extraordinary power of the mind that has the ability to unlock you, to help you break free from the past and fly into the future, into your destiny. And sometimes, how is this water? How is this bottle? How is this bottle? It's full. Huh?
Yes, it's full.
Great. Do you agree with her? This is how we are born. We are born with that extraordinary power of the mind, full of it. You remember the ambitions which you had, the type of life you wanted, type of happiness. You won't find a child who has low self-esteem. You put the child of the pastor here, your child here, they'll fight the same. They don't know that me, I'm a member. Put the present child here, the present child here, the present child can even be beaten. But you are going to say, don't touch the president's child. Rejected by my father at the age of 4 and never saw him. Being called names. Some names they are called him very funny, very ridiculous names. Calling me such names. Going to school on empty stomach, on barefoot. I bought the first shoe I wore, I bought myself. And when I was wearing, it was rejected, scammed, divorced. How is it now? Cheated on. Cheated.